Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 10 of my Final Fantasy playthrough. Today we're going to be going through Mount Gulg. Okay, so what makes this dungeon different is that it's the first dungeon with floor hazards. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of cuts because there are actually quite a few dead ends in this dungeon, and I didn't want to draw this part out any longer. This actually took me quite a while to edit. So yeah. So as you can see, we're fighting the fire and elementals. They're pretty weak at this point, given the arsenal we got, and yeah, just use standard attacks on them. It's not a problem. You should just save your energy for the bigger fights. And as you can see, this is a mistake that I actually made just then when you saw the mithril helmet. So I probably could have saved a bit of time with grinding for the mithril helmet because, well, I can just find this in the dungeon. Yeah, this is the disadvantage of the fact that I haven't played, even though I've beaten this game twice, the times I've beaten it were pretty spaced out, relatively speaking. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm just going through the fire dungeon. As you can see, there's not too terribly much to talk about other than the the lava hazards, excuse me. Now, something that should be noted, a very common occurrence is while you're going across the lava floor, you will be taking damage, but you also won't have random encounters. However, a very common occurrence you will find is that you will basically... A very common occurrence is that as soon as you step onto the safe ground, you'll immediately trigger a random encounter, and that happened quite a few times. Those were where a good chunk of my edits came from, when I had to edit out the random encounters, because, yeah, my policy with the encounters with non-boss enemies is that I only keep them in under two conditions. One, I'm showing off a new ability, or two, they're part of a chest, even if the chest itself isn't mandatory. Because, I want to show, I struggle, well, not necessarily struggle because these fights are really easy, but, I went through something to get the items in that chest, so, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, something I didn't show in the last part was that before coming to this dungeon, I did stock up on quite a few high potions and ethers, high potions for health, obviously, and ethers because they restore your power points, basically, full, or power charges, whatever you want to call them, so, because, for the fight against the boss here, you're gonna need you're gonna need as much tools at your disposal as you can. So yeah, yep, another mithril helm. Yeah. Oh yeah, so right, tents and cottages. Yeah, I just saw that. I don't think I've explained how they work. So there are three overworld healing items. There's the cottage, which restores part of your health, but none of the magic points. Then there's the tent, which restores all your health, but not all your magic points. Then there is the cottage, which restores all your health and all your magic points. So yeah. Yep. Okay, while we're going through this. Oh yeah, and yeah, as you can see, these lava worms, they're pretty much a joke. Like, I can just beat them in a single turn, so... Alright, so another thing I was going to say. I did make a mistake with how I labeled this area in the last part. It's actually not called the Fire Cavern, it's just called Mount Gulg. So, it's a minor mistake, but, I just want to show that I do catch on to my mistakes, yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, I should warn you guys, up ahead, soon we're going to encounter an edit that, I tried for like an hour to get this edit fixed, but it just didn't really work out in my favor, and eventually I just had to make do with what I could. So, okay. So as you can see, we're going down. Another thing I cut out typically is, unless I miss something like in the beginning of the part, is I cut out the maps of me just constantly scanning the maps because, you know, Carl told me that that kind of slows things down if I'm constantly checking the map. So, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, as I'm going through Mount Gulg, yep. So, yeah, as you will see, this is actually the second part that I've uploaded this week because, as I mentioned, once again, I was on vacation, so I had quite a bit of time. I hope to get out part 3, but or the third in my you know, basically rampage of parts, I guess you could say. I hope to get that out tomorrow, which that one shouldn't take me too long because I know there's a large portion I can just edit out at once. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And also, yeah, one problem with using CapCut I've ran into is that sometimes you'll see in the video that there are some syncing issues, but it's like my thing is, if it's not for overly long periods of time, I generally just don't care. So that sounded bad, but you know what I mean. So yeah. Hopefully with this new work ethic I got, I imagine I should be able to get through Final Fantasy 1 hopefully by the end of the month. I should be able to, because, you know, I just got to make up for lost time, and now that I have a more efficient way of pumping out parts, I feel like it shouldn't be too big an issue. 'Cause, you know, I got to get to the wonderful realm of Final Fantasy 2, which, as much as I will hark on it. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is the flame shield. It's not really as useful in this dungeon. It's useful against ice, but yeah. Oh yeah, also I got the ice brand, which that's a sword that's, you know, it's good against fire enemies, I'm pretty sure, but it's obviously not much good against anything else. So, yeah. So, but yeah, as I was saying, so basically, yeah. As you will pick out, like, I mentioned this in a previous part, it is probably going to be for y'all's benefit that I do not do live recordings, obviously, because Final Fantasy II is a bit of a test of patience, and from what I can understand, it is for the best that I never played the Famicom release, because the Famicom release is, from what I can understand, is functionally broken. Pixel Remaster is at least playable. And to be fair, from what I heard, the original Final Fantasy on the Famicom and the NES also doesn't work properly. I mentioned this in one of the early parts that the problem with the original release of this game is there were a lot of spells that just straight up didn't work. So that, like all subsequent re-releases, did fix this issue. So I've kind of been privileged with how I've played the games, although I've heard, in the case of 4 and 6 especially, that there are better ever ports of this game, or remakes. But I actually have the remake of 4 that was released on the DS, but I haven't touched it yet. So yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, my hope is that I can pump out more. I'm going to try to catch up in lost time, you know, just pump out maybe 2 or 3 parts a week. Well, we'll see how that goes, because me and deadlines, I can be quite the procrastinator, as y'all have seen, with the sizable gap in parts being released. But, you know, I want to do better, you know, because I want us to cultivate a loyal fan base one day, so, yeah. Oh yeah, we also, we got the flame mail, which that is, again, it's more useful, again, it has more defenses than the it has more defenses than the knight's armor, but it is also going to be a lot more useful in the dungeon that's in the next part, but because it's better against ice attacks rather than it's better against ice attacks than fire enemies. So yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, another thing I did cut out. Oh yeah, this is the dreaded edit that took me forever before I just decided to say forget it, because I could not get it to sync up. I tried so hard, but I just couldn't figure it out. So yeah, here we go. The Fiend of Fire. So here we got Marilith, the Fiend of Fire. So first thing you want to do is you will finally be able to use Null Blaze, which halves the damage that you take from fire attacks. And yeah, this is also, I will be using Temper. I'll be using Temper to up the attack of the warrior and the thief. That is a key strategy, because Marilith, according to the guide that I used a while back, is not actually weak to ice, so you're just buffing it up for melee attacks primarily. So yeah, and as you can see here, I'm mainly just using the white mage's healing and also to buffer defense. Yeah, I think I used Protera in this. So yeah, just use. Yeah, so as you can see, like without Temper, my thief is functionally worthless, so yeah, now its attack is raised. So I think what this battle and the battle against Lich have taught me is I probably need to do a little more grinding to close the gap a bit, because Lich, I did lose a party member, if I recall, so. Oh yeah, haste also increases the number of attacks you do, and so that by and large increases damage. That's important too. Oh yeah, Protera, yeah. That just raises, it's like, it basically casts Protect on the entire party, so that's important. What am I doing here? Yeah, that was kind of a moment of, do I want to raise defenses, or do I want to... Oh, yeah. In that moment, I probably should have used Protera as a whole, so... Because that just really kind of messed me up, because Marilith hits hard, and I'm kind of doing this under-leveled a bit, so, yeah. Oh, yeah, Dark, yeah, that causes... Darkness, I don't know if I mentioned this in another part, but Darkness does lower your accuracy, but didn't really amount to much because Marilith fell. So yeah, that is the third significant boss encounter we've had. The others were just sort of mini encounters. So, yeah, so we have now restored the Fire Crystal. And we can move on to another smaller dungeon. Thank you all for watching the Revenants Gaming. We appreciate everything. We appreciate you guys being attentive. And if you like the video, like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all in the next part. Bye.